Baseball family, this week we're going to talk about Mike Shildt, housing for minor league baseball players, and the playoffs right now. 9+ Us presents the Baseball Together podcast with your hosts, Blackjack Brad and Kansas City Little Big Briggy Blue Eyes. And now, Baseball Together. Welcome back, baseball family. We are very excited to have you here with us today. It is postseason baseball, and that is just about as good as it gets. And we are going to get into that. But first, I would like to introduce Blackjack Brad. He is in the house, in the heezy.
In the heezy. I'm up in the heezy, up in here. You're right.
And we're all very happy that you're up in this easy. Maybe the roof is on fire. I don't know.
I'll let it burn. Anyway. All right.
We got to get into some current events really quick. And the first things first, Mike Shildt has been fired by the St. Louis Cardinals. And I was terribly surprised by that myself. I did not see it coming.
I don't think anybody saw it coming. I mean, Yadi Molina talked this week that it was a surprise to him, that he had no clue. You know?
He's basically got a spot in the front office. You think
he
right?
should. If he doesn't, he should.
Yeah,
let's be
exactly.
real.
Yeah, exactly. And he just won Manager of the Year. So I'm terribly confused about all of this, and I don't.
Well, and not only that, but like that run in September, that alone should be enough for a guy to keep his job, right?
You'd think. So what were the philosophical differences is what was cited. Philosophical differences.
I don't even know what their philosophical differences are. Like, you want to win. Is it how you're going about? I don't mean, the only thing, honestly, that I can think of is the usage of a pitching staff. That, to me, is the one thing that a manager in a front office would not be able to see eye to eye on. Is how they're using a pitching staff. But
yeah,
it seemed to be working, whatever they were doing.
Exactly. Or the only other thing I can think of is that maybe there was some personal feelings involved. Maybe somebody had their feelings hurt, or somebody had to get their wrist knocked a little bit or hand slapped. I mean,
it doesn't seem like it warrants a firing, though.
But what else could this be other than a personality conflict at the highest order?
Maybe. I don't know, man. It's weird, though. It's really weird. It's weird. You think about it, though, like some team who needs a manager is going to get a very good manager, clearly.
Yes. Like perhaps San Diego.
And it could be the Padres, yes, because it seems like he's going to go interview there probably tomorrow, because that seems like a super duh, right?
Super duper duh. Yep.
So,
anyway,
it's weird.
We are Team Mike Shildt right now. I can't speak for you, Brad. I don't know how you feel about it, but
Team Mike Shildt. Yeah, there was no reason for that firing. I hope he gets a good job. Or I'm certain he'll get a good job. I just hope it comes sooner than later for him, because he deserves it.
I agree. Okay, let's move on to minor league baseball for a minute. The Major League Baseball has announced that they are going to now provide housing for their minor league baseball players starting in 2022. They're not even going to wait. This, to me, is an enormous deal. This is landmark, huge, precedent-setting. It's huge.
It's a big deal for those of you who don't know.
Yeah, it's so big a deal I can't even talk about it without. I don't even know how to illustrate how big a deal it is. But here's part of why minor league baseball players are constantly being supported by the community and by their fan bases, because they don't have money. They're not getting paid very much money. They don't get any housing. There's sometimes a stipend for food, and that's it, and it's just this, they pretty much hang out at the ballpark all the time.
That's what I was going to say, is that up until now, there's been a great incentive for players to just, like you said, hang out at the ballpark, because when they're there, there's food.
Yeah.
The clubhouse is not always super comfortable, but in Orem, I've been in that clubhouse, and it's pretty nice. They got a pretty nice little setup. There was always food out for those players for the Orem Owls.
That's good.
They had big tables in the middle of the clubhouse, and it was always filled with food. If nothing else, they at least had a bunch of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches they could make.
Yeah.
So that was there for him. Like I said, pretty nice little clubhouse, and I guarantee there are other stadiums across the country that are not nearly as nice as Brent Brown Ballpark
For sure.
in Orem. So not everybody's going to have those amenities. Not everybody's going to have peanut butter and jelly sitting out all the time for them to eat. Or, I would walk through and there were just mountains of Chick-fil-A sandwiches and chicken nuggets, So they were fed pretty well, but at the same time, it was their incentive to be at the ballpark.
Exactly.
So this kind of takes some of that away, so they don't have to live at the ballpark basically. And I think that's actually a really good thing for them, especially like when it comes to going on the road. Like, you're probably not sleeping on a comfortable bed at night where you're staying, because some of those host families just want them there, and so they kind of give them like a cot or like an air mattress, right?
Yeah.
But then you go on the road, and a lot of times they're sleeping on the floor in the aisleway on the bus.
Yeah.
So
sucks.
So I hope this gives them a chance to get, at least, if nothing else, a better night's sleep, because that's important, especially for guys who are trying to take care of their bodies, right?
You'd think they would protect that investment at a much higher level.
You would think so. Well, and here's the thing too, though, is that, like, you talk about the bonus babies, the guys who get the signing bonus when they get drafted.
Yep.
I was actually talking to some of the guys in the front office, and they said, "Oh yeah," like, because I was asking if everybody stays with the host family, and they're like, "No, not everybody does." Sometimes you'll get a guy who has a pretty big signing bonus, and what he'll do is he'll put 4 or 5 guys up with him for the season.
Yeah.
Then he'll get an apartment, and he'll have 4 or 5 guys stay with him, just because they're all going through the struggle, and it makes it a little bit easier for him, a little bit easier for them. And so that's nice. That's pretty cool. But this way they don't have to deal with that. And the guy, like, if a guy gets a signing bonus and he washes out, that can go a little bit farther for him.
That's right.
Rather than paying for an apartment for 5 guys.
So then the only thing that this is going to change is the host family dynamic, because in Orem, and I imagine everywhere else, the host family showed up to the ball games, and sometimes only the host families. That's it. So there is an immediate, like, disparity in, fan base interaction and things like that. So I don't think it's a deal breaker by any means, but it is going to be felt in some places, especially in those smaller towns.
Well, and of course, the thing to keep
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, the thing to keep in mind with the host families, though, is that the only money the team is getting from those host families, besides like saving money on housing, right? Yeah. But when those people come to the games, at least in Orem, they're getting free season tickets. The only money they're getting from them is concessions, and sometimes not even that. If they don't want to eat at the ballpark, because the food's not any good.
See episode whatever it was that we talked about.
Yes.
The hot dogs at Brent Brown
a long time ago.
Yeah. But no, I think I'm just talking pure entertainment, pure engagement, not even the economy of it, but just the fact that there are people's butts and seats, right? Yeah. So that's going to be an interesting thing to see. But again, if you think about it, that the host family thing, wasn't it kind of only at rookie ball and low A affiliate levels?
Probably. And those don't even exist anymore. I mean, rookie ball is like the Arizona Summer League and then the Dominican Summer League.
And Pioneer League's got...
Yeah, they're gone now.
Right.
So,
but they're not MLB affiliated. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah. So as far as affiliated goes, I mean, the cost is it's more cost effective now than it was 3 years ago, for sure.
Yeah.
Right. So it makes more sense for teams to fit that bill. And I think that's part of I mean, we've talked about this before. That's part of the reason they did that, was because they saw things like this coming, where they're going to have to pay for housing. They're going to have to pay their players more. They're going to have to take care of them more. So they're like, well, we can't do that for 5 minor league teams. Nope. We got to cut some fat here. So I think that goes a long way for it.
I think you're right. And like we talked about with the Pioneer League guys, that's a great opportunity for them to shake it up and make it their own. And I mean, I think everybody's winning right now. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it's pretty stinking cool. So the next story that we have is probably the coolest thing that you didn't hear about. Honestly.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Because this came as somewhat of a shock to both Brad and I, and we were like, whoa. And it's a huge deal, but if you don't know, you don't know. So we're going to tell you. Major League Baseball is in talks right now, setting up. That's what we do. We tell you, they're in talks to set up a streaming service for Major League Baseball games that will not have blackout restrictions.
Yeah, that's a
Just
big deal.
Let that sink in. Don't get in a wreck on your commute. Okay.
Yeah. two hands on that wheel now, because that is shocking. Because so when we lived in Idaho, I did not get to watch any Mariners games at all. I was starting to actually become a little bit of a Dodgers fan because those were the games I got to watch at night.
Wow.
You know, because of timing and everything like that. Like, I didn't get to watch Mariners games, so I would turn on a Dodger game. And, you know, it helped that my brother-in-law was living with us, and he's a Dodgers fan, so we turn on the Dodgers. But anyway, now, though, I mean, now I live in Phoenix. I don't get to watch Diamondbacks games. I went to 3 games this season, 4 games this season, and those are the only times I watch the D-backs.
That's right.
Like,
and you live
that doesn't
there.
It doesn't feel like it's good for the market, you know?
No,
that it's about time.
asinine.
Like, one of these leagues is like, oh, people are cutting the cord, but we still need to watch the teams. Maybe figure that out. So,
yep. That's exactly right. So, no, it's going to be great. I wonder how the cost will break down, because this is going to be a premium offer, and they understand the value they're proposing. So with the fan base, it's going to be up to us to justify this for them. It's going to be up to them to make it cost effective for us. But then it's going to be up to us as fans to say, supported, right? Like, we love this. Thank you so much for doing this. And as long as the price point is reasonable, which is different for everybody, and that's going to be, I don't want to do the market analysis, but as long as it's somewhat reasonable, I think it's up to us to support it.
It really is, especially since a lot of the money that teams get for payroll comes from their local TV deals. Like, I remember it was probably like 10 years ago or something like that. I saw that the Mariners had a special deal with DirecTV. It was like local DirecTV. And I was like, that's awesome. Payroll's going to go up. It kind of did, but not really, you know, for a while there. But anyway, so it was a big deal for that big DirecTV deal. And now for more streaming money to come in, because I think a lot of people, I mean, like us, we don't have satellite or cable. Like, I'd pay for it. I'd pay for it because I've considered getting cable this last week simply so that I could watch the NLDS and the ALCS.
Yeah, that's right. Well, and I have cable for postseason baseball. Occasionally my local team, right? If I want to watch the Braves play or whatever, if the Yankees are in town somehow or whatever, right? Like, I'll watch it for that. And then I watch the Army-Navy game, and it's there for pay-per-view boxing. That's it. And I pay a ton of money to make sure I have
all
it
year long. Yeah.
All year long. I have it for what amounts to, you know, a handful of hours worth of actually watching.
Yeah. Like a week's worth of sports.
Probably.
Much.
Yeah, 2 maybe. That's it, though.
Yeah.
That's it. So for me, this would be a game changer.
Oh, big time.
Sure. And I think about the other premium streaming services like DAZN for boxing, for instance. And they're branching off into other things, but DAZN is trying to set itself up as the premier boxing streaming service, and it's $100 a year. And I'm like, that makes perfect sense to me. That's entirely reasonable. It's like the athletic subscription, right? They've been in the $70, $75 range or whatever for the annual subscription. It's too much. It's too much for most casual fans. Nobody's going to want to do that. So they're running a deal right now, I just saw, where you can get it for $9 for the year. And they do that about every year. And that's a good deal. Now, that's like way undervaluing what you're getting out of the Athletic. So if you've seen that ad come up and you're wondering, like, is that worth my money? It absolutely 100%. Is worth your money.
Yeah.
100%. The best sports writing you'll ever find, the best sports reporting is going to be on the Athletic.
Yep.
So if it's $10 a year,
we have the Athletic to thank for the sign stealing scandal, by the way.
Yes, we do. And we'll go ahead and talk about them.
We will. We'll get there.
That's fine.
We'll get there because I have a funny story with that. But anyway, so Brig, you and I, we're both into small ball. Those who've been listening to the show for more than 5 minutes know that we love small ball. Small ball has been ruling at least the National League postseason. Stealing bases, a couple bunts here and there.
Oh,
have been the
yeah.
difference. I mean, for those of you who didn't watch Sunday night's Braves-Dodgers game, first off, outstanding finish. That series has been amazing.
Walk it off both times, man.
Yes, 2 games, 2 walk-offs, outstanding. But Sunday night's game, I don't feel like Ozzie Albies would have scored if he hadn't stolen second base that previous pitch.
Never.
So we're seeing more stolen bases, and we talked about this. Was it last year, 2 years ago? That all it's going to take is it. Yeah, every time the World Series comes around, or anytime we talk about home runs, we get talking about how what it's going to take for small ball to come back is somebody to win the World Series off of a stolen base.
Yep.
And the Braves put themselves in the driver's seat because of a stolen base.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. And I'm going to look this up really quick, but I remember freaking out a couple of weeks ago, or excuse me, a couple nights ago, when I watched the Red Sox lay down a bunt.
Yeah. I think you texted me right after.
I texted Brad. I was like, what? The American League, they know how to do a bunt. And I was like, this is crazy. So it's just,
I know.
It's so
It
fun.
is crazy. And it's so funny that you say American League because I'm in this. I've talked before about this Mariners group that I'm in on Facebook, and somebody was like, golly, why didn't they lay a bunt down there? Do you think it would have been executed? It's like, no chance. The Mariners are last in the American League in executing bunts this year. There's no way they laid out a bunt there. That's exactly way better to swing away right now. But
it's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up right now, and I'm going to get that stat for you.
Okay, for stolen bases?
For the Red Sox in this postseason.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to get it right quick.
Well, speaking of the Red Sox, let's do a quick scoring update because we do have right now, we're recording during the middle of Game 3 of the ALCS, and I have the Red Sox up 9-3 in the bottom of the 4th inning. That's crazy to me. Kyle Tucker, of course, hit a home run in the top of the 4th, 3-run home run. That guy, like, he looks like he should be part of an accounting firm, doesn't he?
Yes.
Not playing right field for one of the best teams in baseball, and like one of the best players on that team.
Yep.
I remember the first time I saw him come up to bat a couple years ago. I was like, "Who's this? Get a load of this guy!" Right? And then he smashes a double into the gap. I was like, "Oh yeah, get a load of this guy."
Yeah, that's right. So the Red Sox have stolen bases. If I'm reading this right, it's 40 stolen bases this postseason. Oh, no, that's this whole season. I'm sorry. The whole season.
Okay.
40. That puts them at 15 out of 15 in the American League.
Okay. Last. Yeah.
Yep. That's what that means.
That is definitely last. That's crazy. That's strange to me. But and this is the funny thing is that a team that's been this good has been able to get away with not stealing bases until they got to the postseason when it all flips.
Yep.
Flip the script.
I think if you break out the salami and the mustard, you probably don't need to steal a base.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Kyle Schwarber. I need to come up with a snarky nickname for him, his Royal Schwarbness or something like that.
Maybe we'll come up with something during the break. But real quick, before we get to a break, let's talk about the Giants and the Dodgers. Okay, so this happened, this was last week, whatever, but we have not recorded an episode since this happened.
Right.
How do you lose like that? Like, I understand no game is going to come down to one single play. Like, obviously, it's a culmination of 9 innings, 54 outs, whatever. But, man, like, for that series to end on a bad check swing call, that's not bad on the Dodgers. That's not bad on the Giants. That's bad on the umpires.
Yep.
And bad on Major League Baseball. And I'm curious, Brig, I've got a question for you. Do you know how to fix that?
No, I don't. I anticipated that question, and I've been asking myself the same thing. What is to be done about it? And there is nothing to be done about it, because what are you going to ask the umpire to do? To change the way they call the game just because of the situation? Like, that's not baseball. The game gets called the way the game gets called. It's just the way it is, and they've got their tendencies. That's just it. It's a human element. The problem I have with it is that the umpire should not play a pivotal role in the outcome of a game. And we've talked about that a bazillion times, and I got so many freaking text messages and email chats, and people were like, "Holy crap!" and they were just livid, just irate. And they're not even Giants fans, like not even at all.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I didn't care who won that series, and I was mad. Like,
I wanted the Giants to win.
And I was sitting there watching that, and as soon as the umpire called him out, I just started laughing. I was like, "What a mess! It's going to be such a mess."
It is. And so, what do you think? Is there a way to fix it, or what?
So I think there is, kind of. Like the thing is, what they have to do is first they'd have to expand instant replay, which is not what any of us want. I understand that, but check swings have to be reviewable, is what you have to do first, and then, to avoid ending a series on that, you have to take the Little League World Series approach. The last play of every game is reviewed. So, strike 3 called. He went around. Obviously he didn't. Umpires go over. That's a 5-second review. Go to New York. Did he go around? No, it wasn't even close. All right, let's get back out there.
Right.
Ball 3 or whatever. And suddenly you've got your pitcher has to come out and make one more competitive pitch. The batter has a second life, and you get to actually end the game on an actual baseball play, because that's not a baseball play. That's a judgment call.
That's right. Yep.
So,
well, and at first I thought he did go around. Like, honestly, the first time I saw it, I was like,
when I saw it live, I thought he did. I did.
Yeah.
Because what I do when I watch games, I do he's out or he's safe.
Yep. Yep.
So that was the first thing I did. I went up with it. I was like, he went around. Then they showed the replay. I was like, oh, that wasn't even close.
Ooh, yeah, actually.
And he had a better angle than I did live, so he should have known.
Right. So, yeah, I don't know. And at first, anyway, the whole thing's a mess. And I think you hit the nail on the head by saying it that way, because there's absolutely no reason to rob the players, the fans, everybody. It's like, and that's how we all feel is cheated now, right? And that's the problem. Is it has less to do with how, like, what the situation, whatever. Because it could have been anything. Is if the umpire or a fan had interfered or whatever, we would all feel cheated. It doesn't matter. The fact that we feel cheated is the point.
Well, and this is my other issue with it, though, Brig, is that there's not the accountability with the umpires that there should be. Like, after the game, they were talking to the umpires, and they asked him, like, "Did you see the replay?" And the crew chief chimed in. He goes, "Well, he's not going to answer that. No, we're not going to talk about it." It's like, and that's them saying, like,
ability to say, "Pound it."
Yeah, like, they know he got it wrong. He knows he got it wrong, but they don't want to talk about it because they don't want to be held accountable. And that's the bigger issue here to me. Like, the biggest overlying issue is that umpires can go out there and call a terrible game start to finish, and there's no accountability for it. That they remain in the NLCS, they remain out there calling a terrible strike zone, blowing calls at first base that are only overturned every once in a while because of replay, only when it's egregious.
Yep.
But no, I have a bigger problem with the umpires than anything in baseball right now, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's terrible.
But robots aren't going to fix that situation.
Not all of it. They can only remedy some of it. They're not going to fix the whole problem.
And that's why you're saying replay has got to be extended or expanded into check swing calls.
Yeah, and I hate to say it.
Is it situational? Because they're never going to go for that, man. That's going to slow the game down.
It could, but I mean, think about it. So a manager has 2 challenges in a game?
Mm-hmm.
How often? I mean, you can only challenge 2 check swings. That's what that means.
And if there's one to challenge, it better be a big old check swing.
Exactly. You better be sure that he didn't go around.
Yes.
And because there could be a play at first, there could be a play at home, there could be a stolen base, and then bottom of the 8th inning that you want to challenge, and you've got to have that available. So they're not going to challenge every single check swing.
Well, then you don't expand the challenges. You don't give them a third.
No. Don't give them any more.
You can't do
challenges.
that. No way.
Yeah.
No way.
And honestly, I feel like out of everything that's reviewed, a check swing would be the fastest.
Yeah. Oh,
because New York would have that queued up immediately. They could put that headset on, and they know whether it's a check swing or not before it even comes on.
Yep.
So
if that leads me to wondering why they don't have earbuds in the whole time anyway. The whole
They
crew.
should.
It's
They
like,
really should.
What if they just went, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We're all on the same. Yeah, okay. It was a home run. Whatever.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that if they were actually watching the replay, it would make sense to go over and get the headset. But they're not even watching. They're standing there listening.
That's right. They're deferring to somebody else who's not even there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know. The whole replay system, everything is messed up. Major League Baseball's got it backwards, but whatever. Anyway,
potential. Haven't talked about this yet. All potential CBA stuff.
It is. It is.
Same with the housing. Same with the housing. Same with the. Okay. All right. I got it in. Now we can move on. Okay.
All right. So the Red Sox eliminated the Rays in the ALDS. I didn't see that coming, although I feel like I should have.
Well, only because now the way they're playing.
Well, because of the way they're playing now, but like you think about this, like we're going to get in this a little bit more later, but the Red Sox were the best team in the American League for a long time this season.
A really long time.
Until they had a COVID outbreak, and then they were depleted. And when you're not at full strength, you're not going to be as good of a team. So it's almost like, well, duh. Of course they took it to the Yankees. Of course they took it to the Rays. They were ahead of the Rays for the majority of the season. And of course now they're taking it to the Astros because they were better than them for most of the season.
That's right.
So,
and they're at full strength.
Yes, they're at full strength. Absolutely. Yeah. So I don't know. It's funny to me that how quickly we forget those things.
It's true. Well, and that's the same thing with I saw a graphic the other day that said that, what do you call it? The Orioles were in first place longer than the Yankees the entire season. Like if you added it all up.
Yeah, it was the Orioles were in first place for like 7 or 9 games. And the Yankees were only in first place for 1.
Yep. And you never would have known that if you didn't know that, right? Like if you're not looking and paying close attention. You could have told me that and I'd be like, what? Yeah. No way. But it's 100% true.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely.
So it's weird. But then the Astros eliminated the White Sox, right?
They did. Yeah. And you know what? Honestly, I wasn't surprised at that because the AL Central was so down this year and the White Sox were able to beat up on that division.
Yeah.
I felt like the Astros were the way better team.
And I thought the White Sox would give them a better run for their money.
And I felt like the White Sox underachieved this year. I mean, they were dealing with some injuries. I'll give them that, right?
Sure.
They had some stars out for a considerable amount of time at some point. But at the same time, like I didn't think they were as good as they should have been. I was expecting them to like contend for the top for the best record in the American League.
Yeah.
Not to have the worst record of the division winners.
Right.
So
yeah,
I don't know.
That's how
I thought that happened.
You asked me earlier how you thought it happened, or how I thought it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really simple. The Astros beat them. So
there you go.
Handily.
Handily.
Brad's like, how do you think that happened? Let's talk about it. And I was well.
I got a few ideas. I'll throw one at you. How's that?
All right, baseball family, we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to get back into the postseason.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I never get back with me. Root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Shop kids' baseball shirts at 9plusS.com.
The None Sports Podcast is the home of sports talk for everyone. Every other week, you can catch David and Jason as they talk about all things sports, from current events to classic moments and everything in between. You can find the None Sports Podcast on Anchor.fm, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, and more. Please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review.
Welcome back, baseball family. Let's talk some playoffs again. Let's talk ALCS and LCS. Here we go. Okay, first, Houston versus Boston. Game 3 going on right now. Like we said before, the Red Sox are still up 9-3. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning right now. I feel like errors might be the eventual undoing of the Astros.
You'd think that, wouldn't you?
It kind of seems like it. Like, what is it about the postseason that Jose Altuve really struggles with throwing the ball?
I don't know.
I don't think it's nerves, because he seems to do well at the plate, which is where I always got nervous during the postseason. Like during tournaments and stuff. Like, I don't know.
I always got nervous at the plate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. At the plate was where I got nervous.
No. I mean, I just got nervous at the plate. Like, I didn't matter. Postseason, I didn't. I just said they're like, oh man.
I see what you're saying.
Oh, I can relate to that. I feel like that makes a lot of sense.
But yeah, it's funny because a guy who's been so good defensively, because I think he had like 3 errors all season, and now he's got 3 in this series.
Yeah, he does.
Like, eesh, man. But that's not really the story of this whole thing. The whole story of this is that the Red Sox are busting out the rye bread and the mustard, because it's been grand salami time the last 3 days. And by that I mean Briggs got the salami. For those
I really
of you not watching, he literally just put salami.
I literally have salami.
But
I'm not going to apologize.
And the only reason it's been 3 grand salamis in 3 days is because they had a day off in there.
Correct, sir.
So for those of you who don't know or have not been paying attention to this series as closely as maybe you ought to be, Boston hit a grand slam in the first inning of Game 2. JD Martinez. And then in the second inning, it was Rafael Devers.
Yep, of Game 2.
And his Cabbage Patch Cheeks hit a grand slam in the second inning. Sure did. Holy moly. They're the first team to ever do that. 2 grand slams in one postseason game.
Yes, sir.
And then, Brig,
my man,
Kyle Schwarber,
his Royal Schwarbness,
another one tonight.
Right. Yes,
in the second inning.
Yes, he did. And they're early. And they've got the bases juiced because they are playing small ball. They're putting the ball in play. You know who's not putting the ball in play very often?
The Astros.
Is Houston. Jose Altuve, as of right now, okay, this is the bottom of the 5th inning, 1 for 11 in this series.
Baseball's hard when you don't know what's coming.
Michael Brantley, 2 for 11 in this series. Alex Bregman, 2 for 10 in this series.
It makes a big difference when those guys aren't hitting the ball.
Huge difference.
Because they're the ones who are going to get in. Correa, that dude just rakes all day, every day.
Player. He's a terrific ball player.
Yeah. Can we talk about that for just a minute? So it was Game 1 of this series. He hits that home run in the 7th inning. And by the way, I did see a graphic after the game that he has 4 go-ahead home runs in the 7th inning or later in the postseason in his career, which is the most all time.
Whoa. I did not know that.
So he is Mr. Clutch Correa, if you want to. Maybe that's what we'll call him.
Just grab it.
But he can't win the games. He can't win the series by himself.
Nope.
And maybe that's part of the reason he's talking about leaving after the season, because he's like, I'm tired of carrying these guys in the postseason.
Right. And we cheated and it didn't work.
Exactly.
I don't want to bring that up anymore. But the point is that Kiki Hernandez he's at the plate. And it's so exciting. I have to watch him play baseball. I just have to. And
it's been the month of Kiki Hernandez.
It really is.
Because when the Red Sox need a home run, he's got it. When they need a defensive play, he's got it. And if they just need a hit, he's got it. A lot of hits in that bat right now.
Did you see him throw that frozen rope from center field to home plate?
I did.
He literally fell over.
Did you see what that was clocked at?
No.
That throw was clocked at a shade over 97 miles an hour.
Oh my, jeez.
That's a good throw, and it was a strike too. It was a strike. It was a
was
little
a
bit late, but
bullet.
it was a strike.
It was the perfect placement, and he blew the cutoff man right out. Just blew him off. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, whatever. And
Didn't
the
need
cutoff
it.
man's backup guy. It didn't matter. He missed 2 guys, and it went all the way to the plate.
Threw over the double cut. Yep. Yes. So, Brig, you did some math on this because we were talking about how the Dodgers and the Braves are not hitting very many home runs as a collective unit, scoring a whole lot of runs. But
Correct.
Kiki Hernandez has been on a tear. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about Kiki Hernandez versus, let's just go with the Dodgers.
Okay, so Kike Hernandez in 32 at-bats, that was prior to tonight's game, 32 at-bats, he's hit 5 bombs, 5 home runs. In L.A., the Dodgers have had 267 at-bats this postseason and have hit 7 home runs. So put that in your prayer and ponder it. So Kike Hernandez, 5 home runs and 32 at-bats. The entire Dodgers staff this postseason, 267 at-bats, 7 home runs.
That's so funny.
It's crazy.
Well, and I think we talked about it a little bit last week that he went on that tear as well when he went he got on base, I think it was 16 times in 12 games or something like that, or 3 games.
Yeah.
I can't remember. 3, 4 games.
Well, and he's 2 for 3 tonight.
There you go.
Dude just does not know how to stop, man.
Yeah.
And they just showed a graphic on the baseballs stage thing. The people who do the thing, the television guys.
Yeah.
They just showed this. I'm going to read this to you because I thought it was really, really cool. It's talking about Kike Hernandez, and then we can move on. But 17-plus hits and 5-plus home runs in a 6-game span, okay? History in the American League, regular season and the postseason combined. Here's the group he's hanging out with. Ty Cobb, Lou Gehrig, Jimmy Fox, Kirby Puckett, and now Kike Hernandez.
Pretty good company, I'd say.
The previous 4 dudes are all in the Hall of Fame.
And this is the thing that's funny is I don't know that Kike Hernandez is going to get in the Hall of Fame.
Maybe not. I don't know. He's 16 years into his career. It's a long time to get hot like this, but
that's pretty good longevity. But this is the thing is with this guy, he does this in October. He's never been this hot.
No,
but he's good in October. He's all right in the regular season. But if he did this during the regular season, we'd be talking about him up with like Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani. He'd be winning MVPs.
That's exactly what I was
That's the level of play that he's putting up right now.
Well, and I think he's outperforming guys like Mike Trout. Like, let's be honest. And not just because of injuries, but Mike Trout doesn't have the stage. He doesn't have the backup. He doesn't have the security that Kike Hernandez is being afforded by other guys on the staff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because and the thing too is that Mike Trout has 3 postseason games under his belt, and I don't know that he's done anything with them. Let me see if I can find him real quick.
Not like this.
But I know that he's never won a postseason game. That's a big thing. That's something actually that people hold against him. He is 1 for 12 with 1 home run. That's it. A solo home run. 3 walks, 2 strikeouts in the postseason is my
I'm sorry. Kike Hernandez, 7 years in the league. Sorry. I apologize.
Okay.
He's been at 16 series in the postseason.
That makes sense.
That's what it is. It's 65 postseason games in his 7-year career. Yeah.
That's a lot.
65 season games.
Yeah. Well, and he played a big role with the Dodgers last year.
For sure. For a long time.
Yeah. I mean, he was a big part of the reason that the Dodgers made it as far as they did the last 4 years.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's go and talk about
30 season, by the way. Just rounding that out. Okay.
So let's talk about Atlanta and LA. So this series has not only gone backwards from what I thought it was going to be, but it's also been way better than I thought it was going to be. So
Way
Boston
better.
and Houston is exciting because Boston's hitting all the home runs.
Yeah.
All the home runs.
Doing the
scoring all
American League
runs.
thing, right? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But Atlanta has walked off the Dodgers twice in 2 games.
Yeah.
Twice in 2 games. Now,
In the 9th, by the way. They're not extra innings.
oh, okay. Yes, not in the 7th or 8th inning. They're definitely walking off. But no, that
No, I
makes
mean
sense.
like it's not 10, 11, whatever. Because it
Yeah,
could
these
be.
games are not going long. They're walking off their first chance they've got.
That's
And it's
right.
funny because there was some talk about how, like, oh my gosh, the Dodgers won 106 games and Atlanta only won 88. There's no way, there's no reason for Atlanta to have home field advantage, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, no, you got to win your division. And that's
Right.
the emphasis right there, right? Like, you can be a wild card team and get in, but all it means is that you're in. You don't get any
That's it.
benefit besides continuing to play. That Atlanta won 88 games. They have home field advantage because they won the terrible NL East.
Yep.
So,
But
you can put that in your
unlike the
pipe
White
and smoke it.
Sox, yeah, exactly. Unlike the White Sox, the Atlanta Braves are crushing it. They are rising to and extending beyond the occasion every single time.
Yep.
It's
They are,
awesome.
and it is awesome. It's been a lot of fun to watch because this series has been, I mean, it's been blow for blow, right? I mean,
oh man, no
Bray, you
kidding.
talk about boxing all the time, and it's seriously like right cross, uppercut,
Boom.
uppercut, like hook. It's been back and forth the entire time. When one team goes ahead, the other team responds. There's a reason it's been tied in the 9th inning of these games, because they're just going blow for blow for each other, and it's the last team up to the plate is going to win. And I hope it continues in Los Angeles, because I would love to see more walk-offs.
Doubt. Well, and a walk-off away for Atlanta would be exhilarating. But I do have to be honest. I need them to lose one game in LA.
Oh, so they come back to...
Yeah, so I can go see them in Game 6.
Yeah. Well, they'd have to lose 2. They'd have to lose 2.
You're right. Yeah, 2. I almost went both nights, but I just couldn't work it out. Anyway,
yeah.
I if they come back this Saturday, if they lose 2 games in LA and they come back this Saturday, I'm going.
Well, you know what, Brig? If they do end up sweeping or only losing 1, I mean, you've got
the World Series.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. Of course.
So,
I don't know what tickets for the World Series would be, but right now they're between 150 and 175 a piece.
You might
That's
need to
if
double
you
it.
want to sit down.
Yeah, you might need to double it.
Might need to not go at that price, but whatever.
Yeah.
Those are inaccessible prices. We call that
ridiculous.
cost prohibitive.
Yes, it's ridiculous is what it is. But no, it's been an awesome series. If you haven't been watching this, like, turn it on. It's been on TBS. Find a way to watch it.
For real.
Because it's good. Well, and here's something else too, is that Max Scherzer didn't have his typical outing. He gave up a couple home runs, gave up some hits and a home run Sunday night, but he said he's pitching through a dead arm. They're like, are you having like problems? He says, no, it's just tired, which is not typical of Max Scherzer, I feel like. I mean, granted, he's 37, 38?
Yeah, he's older than Creek Dirt for sure.
He's getting there, right?
Just kidding. Yeah, but he's getting to the end.
Yeah,
but we're still seeing these killer performances. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's kind of one of those ageless wonders. Yeah, so he's 37, and this is what you would expect for him, is that this late in the season, and he's pitched into the postseason. How many times has he been in the postseason in his career? Let me look.
Like,
where are we at?
3
postseason. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is his 8th postseason.
Okay.
One of those. So in 2014, he just had 1 outing.
Okay.
With Detroit against Baltimore.
I was going to say I forgot about
Detroit.
Thing. That's right.
16, 17 with the Nats. Those were short. Yeah. But still, I mean, the fact that he's pitching beyond the regular season, those are extra pitches on that arm, and it's going to add up eventually.
And he's 37.
Exactly right. Because this is the way I equate it, is that they talk a lot about in the NBA mileage on those guys' legs, right? Like LeBron James has played like 3 full regular seasons, 2 or 3 full regular seasons of just postseason basketball.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so he's got like 17 or 18 seasons under his belt in the NBA, but you add on the postseason, he's got like 20 or 21.
Interesting. That's a cool metric. They should do that in baseball. That's cool.
They should, and because basically any numbers that guys put up in postseason are in a vacuum. They don't include it at all. Like they don't include games pitched. They don't include games played. It always comes up in the arguments, like we talked about with Mike Trout a few minutes ago.
Yeah, exactly.
But as far as like Scherzer's pitch count, especially when he was with the Nats in that championship run, he was the workhorse.
He carried the whole damn pitching staff. Oh,
he did.
Darn pitching staff.
Him and Strasburg, right?
Yeah.
Those guys carried everybody, just about. So,
yeah.
So there have been a lot of pitches coming out of that arm, especially in a day and age when that's something that they really care about. So,
and nobody's doing.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody. Like, where's Justin Verlander?
He's still out with TJ, isn't he?
That's what I'm saying. He had the same problem.
Yeah.
And he's old.
I think he's the same age. So yeah, old.
That's what I'm saying.
Dirt, as you say, right?
Older than creek dirt. Yeah, that's right. You're supposed to picture what actually older than creek dirt actually looks like. It's not Max Scherzer. For those of you that
so Justin Verlander's Justin Verlander is 38. I just pulled him up on Baseball Reference.
Yeah.
And just above his age, it says 60-day IL. And at first I read that as 60 years old, and I was like, no. I had to double take.
Well, let's talk about this. Going back to the Atlanta LA series, the scores have been low. Mm-hmm. And so the Red Sox have scored 9 runs in tonight's game so far. Yeah. And the Houston Astros have scored 3 runs, and we had like a 9-run total.
So yesterday. Sunday night the score was 5-4. Saturday it was 3-2.
So
14 runs total.
That's right.
We've had 12 runs tonight.
Is this a difference between the American League and the National League? Is that as simple as this is?
We talked about it last week. I think it is.
I think so.
It's pitching versus offense. And
that's why when we get to the World Series, it's going to be way better because we're going to be able to see these like opposites attract thing happening, right? It's a yin-yang.
Well, especially since like right now it looks like the Red Sox cannot be stopped. So
do you think the Braves can do it?
I don't know. They've slowed down that Dodgers, which is pretty dang good.
That's what I'm saying. Like at this point, you got to wonder if the Braves have what it takes.
Yeah,
to beat LA.
It's the unstoppable object against an immovable or an unstoppable force against an immovable object.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah. It'll be fun to watch. I'm excited for it. Really excited for it. It's also a little bit depressing because baseball's coming to an end, and then we have to address the CBA.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like, I don't want to call it the elephant in the room, but it's like that chore that you have to get done that you've been putting off all day long. And then finally at the end of the day, you're like, I can't go. It's like making your bed after you wash the sheets.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't want to put the sheets back on because it's a pain, but you can't get in bed till you do it.
That's the perfect analogy. That's the perfect. You know what the solution to that is? Ready for a life hack?
Yeah. What's that?
At least 2 sets of sheets. Take
Take
the sheets off, put the new ones back on, then wash them.
That's smart.
Yeah. Then you never ever have that problem, which is what I hope they do. See, here's the analogy. It's what I hope they do with the CBA. I hope they say, okay, these changes will be instituted in 1 year's time, 2 years' time. For that one, 3 years' time, it becomes a phased out plan to reintegrate whatever they negotiate at the end of the season, so that we don't have a work stoppage and everybody has a chance to acclimate to the new standards. So we need,
because it's probably going to be pretty drastic. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be pretty drastic. But going back to the sheets thing, I thought you were going to say the solution to that problem is just don't wash your sheets.
Oh.
Like a gross break.
Are you kidding me? I'm domesticated. Have you not known? Do you not know this?
I do know. I know. I've been
I
to your
wear
house.
all the hats around here. All of them. That's not true. I'm not a child anymore. But that's it, though. I mean, I am sometimes. Sometimes I'm just a big kid.
Are we all? Are we all?
Yeah. I talk about baseball for fun every week. It's fantastic.
I know. So speaking of being a kid and talking about baseball, so I think I told you about this earlier, Brig. So today is Alex Cora's 46th birthday, right?
Yeah.
So I saw it on PTI today. I thought it was pretty cool, and I said something about it. My wife was in the kitchen. She goes, "Who is it?" I was like, "Alex Cora, manager for the Red Sox, 2-time cheater." She's like, "What?" So I explained the whole thing with the Astros, and then he went to the Red Sox and implemented the system there and got caught and everything. And Wilson, my son, who by the way is 7, for context, came walking in as I said that he was a 2-time cheater. And he goes, "Wow, it seems like they should just kick him out of baseball. He shouldn't be able to coach anymore." Like, this kid gets it.
Wow.
How hard is that, Rob? You're a 7-year-old made your decision for you.
Right. And like I said earlier, he knows as much about Star Wars as he does about baseball.
He does.
So
it's actually pretty good, though.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
That's what I'm saying. He's a smart kid.
He's a really smart kid. If he wants to learn about it, he will, and he'll learn everything there is.
Everything. The dude, I mean, you want to talk about dinosaurs all day, baby. All day.
Yes.
This dude, he knows everything about dinosaurs.
He does so much.
I promise.
Yeah. So Wilson's the kid who reads like the Big Book of Why and and like all those like what is the Big Book of Why? There's another one like a historic. I don't know. Anyway, we were at a D-backs game and he was talking to this lady about something, and she goes, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And he goes, "I want to be what's the word, Dad?" I was like, "I don't know. Like it's different every 20 minutes." He goes, "Oh yeah, I want to be a historian when I grow up." I was like, "Oh dang, I didn't know that." So
wow.
That's his new thing. That's his new thing is he wants to be a historian. Smart kid.
Makes sense.
Really smart kid.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
He is a smart kid for sure.
All right. Should we wrap this up, Brig?
Let's wrap it up, man. Wrap it all the way up.
I could put
Then
a
we
little
finish
bow on
this
it.
game. It's the bottom of the 6th. No outs, 1 on. Boston's at the plate. Bogarts.
Still 9-3.
9-3. He's 1 for 3 this game. Might be Devers at first base. I don't know who it is. There's Schwarber.
Probably. Yeah, I'd probably Devers at first. I'm not. I don't have like the game up, but I bet that's Devers at
The
first.
strike zone is all over the place tonight, man.
It has been. It has been all season, and I thought it would get better in the postseason, but it has not. We need robo umps. This needs to be put into the CBA. This needs to be the first thing that's addressed.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, with that.
On that note.
On that note, baseball family, we appreciate you being with us every single week. And we know we're coming into our period of mourning and sadness, collective sadness. We have something special for you for that collective sadness. So we're just going to let a little slip that teaser in there. Don't worry about it. It'll happen. We will bring it to your attention when the time is right. It will probably be in November because we will all be sad in November together. And since we do baseball together during the baseball season, we'll do sadness and mourning together when it's the winter meetings.
Maybe that's what we'll call ourselves in the off season: sadness together.
Yes. I love it. Anyway, don't forget to jump on the shop at 9plusus.com. It's NINEPLUSUS.com, 9plusus.com, where you can get all the cool stuff we're wearing on the show. You can get great. We had somebody that bought a mug, and he was like, "Dude, this mug is awesome." And I was like, "Thanks, man." So it's really cool. Like, we have some stuff that people love. Anyway, I love them. I have all our own stuff. This is the best. I'm wearing a Baseballs for Lovers t-shirt. For those of you who are Virginia fans, this is a nod to you. Baseball Things hat. Brad, looks like you're wearing our Dia Del Mago hat.
Yep, Dia Del Mago hat. Yep.
Yeah, and then what is that? A hot dog shirt you got on?
Yeah, the hot dog. Yep, hot dog at the ballpark is better than a steak at the Ritz. You know, I have to wear this hat backwards when we do the podcast because there's so many colors on the front that it gets messed up with the green screen. So when I wear it on the pod, I have to wear it backwards. But that's cool.
That makes sense.
I like it. It still looks good backwards. That like blue snap is sweet. I love it. It matches this shirt perfectly. It's very good. Very good color combination. Anyway, with that, don't forget to also stop by baseballtogether.com where you can watch podcasts, you can listen to the podcast, you can submit to the mailbag. There is a link in the navigation bar at baseballtogether.com. There's also a link in the description of every single episode. You can send us an email with your questions, comments, concerns, and always welcome to submit your Snyder marks as well. We'll always take those. And if you have any questions for us about the postseason, what we want to see this offseason, go ahead and send those our way. You can also click the link in the description and leave us a voicemail if you prefer to do that, because that's super cool. We like that. It's a neat little feature that we get with hosting on Anchor. You've probably heard the ad at the beginning of every episode, but that's something that we like that we get from Anchor. But baseball family, with that, go back and enjoy the LCS. We still have the Red Sox and Astros going in the bottom of the sixth right now, 9-3. But we'll check in with you next week.